Alright guys, Wallace here. Now, I don't normally do this, or at least I haven't done it before, but today I'm just doing a quick talking head video because Star Wars Battlefront, the classic 2002 and 2005 games are back. Sort of. So, in case you've missed it, there is a modern port called the Star Wars Battlefront Classic Collection that's going to take the original two Xbox and PS2 era games, and it's going to basically port them to modern hardware. So that's going to be on Steam. It's going to be on PS4 and PS5. It's going to be on Xbox One S and Xbox whatever they have now. It's going to be on Nintendo Switch. So why does this matter? Well, these are games that kind of predate the overly corporate game industry. It predates the constantly online battle pass, loot box, and microtransaction era, you know? Now, TheActMan did a video on this a few years back where he talked about, two videos. One where he talked about the original Star Wars Battlefront duology and the EA Battlefront duology, and he talked about them, why people loved the first one so much, why people hated the second. I'm going to link that in the description below, because if you've never seen it, it is at the very least a hell of a nostalgia trip for such a good game. But it really sums everything up in that video, so check it in the description below. This came out with the simple goal of immersing you in what it felt like to be a part of a Star Wars battle. And if you've never played this game, you're probably not on this video. But they succeeded. These were big battlefields full of, if you were a single player junkie like me, full of, AI clones and AI battle droids. And you could order them around, you could attack command posts, you could make strategic decisions. If you played Galactic Conquest, which was kind of a board game mode, you could run the army. You select different weapon upgrades or troop unlocks. You determined how many fleets you had and where they went, when you attacked what, all kinds of stuff. And so it's an amazing game. I could rant about that and not convey a third of it. So I'm not going to. I'm going to move on, and I'm going to talk about why people would still be interested in the game today. If you're somehow on this video and you don't know, it released on Steam years ago, the classic one. And when they did that, they brought back up the multiplayer servers, and because the modding options had always been open for the game, they released a performance patch and then just let the modding community have at it. There's been a fan-made remaster for years. Plenty of stuff's been added. All the maps have been brought over from all the exclusive things if you're on Steam. And it's fantastic, and the player base is lively. You go on there at any time, and there are multiple servers with a solid number of players on them. Sometimes you'll have full servers. I think it's the EU public server is almost always above 20 people. It's insane. I love it. So what's changing in this release that makes it worth playing this instead of a modded version of the original? Well, I'll preface all of this with there's a lot of hope, there's a lot of rumor, there are very few details. They've kept their cards close to their chest. They announced this barely 3 weeks before the release date, so there's not even a lot of time for leaks or investigations or anything. But here's what we do know. The Steam page for it indicates that you have to have a 64-bit processor to play this. We can see in the trailer that texture and lighting has been significantly upgraded from the base game and seems to surpass the longtime community favorite HD remaster mod. They didn't show any details from, the UI, so we don't have a guarantee that that's fixed, but it would seem kind of weird to do the texture upgrades to the map surfaces and the models that they've shown and not touch the UI or the menu, especially because they're going to be adding in support natively for things like PS4 controllers, even on the PC version, and there's no option for that in the current release, so that's got to be different. And a quick word about moving from 32x to 64x processing. 32-bit processing has a hard limit of 4 gigabytes of addressable RAM for a program, and 64x has a couple exabytes. Now, I don't know if PC modding has been able to overcome that limit of being a 32-bit game, but I've got to assume that it's going to be better for modders if the game is running natively in 64x. Between that and those texture and lighting changes, it really seems like they've done a lot under the hood. Speaking of modding capabilities, by reading through the EULA, the End User License Agreement, users have found out that mod.io is going to be Asper's, access point of choice for mods. Now, apparently it's unclear whether or not that's going to apply to this specific release, and people are generally more in favor of Steam Workshop being used. But at the end of the day, mod support is mod support, and if there's a limit for the PC release, let's be real, it won't stick around for very long. So, in addition to under-the-hood changes like that, it would seem that they've also added Heroes and Villains game mode to all ground maps. So, you can it used to be, you booted that up, you could only do that on Mos Eisley. Now you can do it on every ground map. That's going to be fun. You're going to have 32v32 multiplayer on all platforms. These are huge opportunities for the player base. But it doesn't seem to all be perfect, as much as I would absolutely love it to be. There are concerns people have. There are concerns over stolen mods, specifically a mod that was community created that added, I think it was Asajj Ventress in and Kit Fisto, and it looks, in the trailer, it looked like they had just poorly copied the mod. So who knows? I don't. The mod author made some posts on Reddit. I'm hoping that they didn't steal it. And I'm sure that if anything is stolen, they'll be like, oh well, it was covered under the license agreement. We didn't feel we had to do anything. I'm not gonna be happy if it has stolen stuff, and I'm gonna hope that anybody who had their work put into it would find a way to get compensated, or at least rewarded from the community or something. That's not gonna be good if it's got stolen stuff in it. But I'm holding out hope that they built it and it has just similar end results. But we won't know until it's released and people get to really poke around in it. So we got to stay alert for that. Server connections. Back in the day with PlayStation 2 multiplayer, this was peer-to-peer. And then you had, Xbox Live. So people have brought up the idea of, are there going to be problems with server connectivity? Is it really going to be able to handle 32v32? It's 64 players connected. And are we even going to be able to fill a 64-person lobby? Yes, we will fill the lobby. The lobbies will be filled. Don't worry about that. As far as connectivity, I want to tie that back to the 64-bit processor requirement. They have clearly, from the ground up, restructured how this game is built. And that's going to include the netcode. I'm pretty sure that the original netcode is not going to be, comparable to modern stuff. So I'm pretty confident that the server connections will be fine. And then one of the biggest questions people have is, will crossplay be a thing? We don't know. It's not something they mentioned. I feel like if they were doing that, they would have mentioned it. Crossplay would be cool. It would really, really guarantee that the lobbies get filled. But no guarantee. If it happens, it probably won't be at launch. If I had to guess, I'd say they're probably going to launch it without crossplay. see what the player base looks like, see how, how it's doing, and then say, okay, do we want to throw the resources in towards making crossplay compatible servers? I wouldn't doubt that. So, should you buy it? Yes. Yes. It's currently priced at, I believe, $30. If I open up Steam real quick here, it's $35.01 on Steam for me right now in North America. But you get 10% off if you already have... I think you get 10% off plus an extra discount. I'm not sure. If you already have the original Steam release of Battlefront in your Steam library, which I did. And honestly, even if it was just a one-to-one release, yes, the component games on Steam are cheaper, but they're also fairly buggy, even with the fan remasters. I'm sorry, I cannot play Dagobah on the fan remaster. That fog visual glitch, I've tried the mods to fix it, it's just awful. The amount of content you'll get, especially if you never had the originals, the amount of content you're getting for $35 is easily double the kind of stuff you get in the games they crap out these days that are $70. Buying this kind of sends a message that, like, yes, we want the old school gaming shit back. We want to have campaigns that are well done. We want to have simple multiplayer matches. We want to have games that arrive complete. We want to have games where not everything is about filling out a battle pass and logging in every day and buying a bunch of mini stuff. We want a proper game. And it's the hope of the general hope of the Battlefront community that with this game, if this does well, and it seems to based on the views the trailers are getting and the talk it's generating in the gaming community at large, the hope is that this does well and they greenlight a proper Battlefront 3. There was one in development. There was a PSP exclusive game. The sky could be the limit. I think that's just about everything I wanted to say about the game. As for me, I will be streaming most of the day on March 14th, and as much as I can on March 15th. I've got some stuff going on, but I will be streaming most of those 2 days if I can, non-stop. I've started up a Discord for people who want to play the game. I'm going to have an invite link to that in the description. I'm excited. I might throw some edits up here on the YouTube. I might talk about it more. So, check out my Twitch, twitch.tv/TheWallaceman105. Click like and subscribe below if you want to, see more of this. And yeah, this is going to be a lot of fun. I can't wait. We're so back.